all my field trips, regardless of what grade they are. Field trip. I have other guests besides just the field trip here, okay? So do me the best respect and respect the other people that actually here. Your partner on your side of you might care less about an alligator. But I do have some guests that's from different states and stuff like that. They want to know how we get along and how things move around here with alligators, okay? For starters, ladies and gentlemen, do me one big favor. Everybody say hello, Josh.
Hello, Josh!
Josh is actually from Indiana. He got graduated with a bachelor's degree in general biology. So he took care of all the paperwork, came over here, never left. He's been here, and if I have to catch an alligator, Josh is going to be the guy that's going to be my right-hand man on that. So if I get bit, it's Josh's fault, not mine. That's it. But anyway, like I said, we're going to have some fun with this. Y'all ready to see some alligators get fed?
Woo!
All right. Now, we got a nice little presentation for y'all at the end of the show. So please don't jump up and take off, because we do house one of the largest alligator here. His name is Big Lou, and he is pushing 13.3, and he's about 900 pounds, okay? He's a big alligator. Oh, by the way, we do have South Padre Island in the Texas area, Corpus. We also have Beaumont, Texas, which is the home of Gator country. And this one here we purchased the last 6 years ago. Now, Beaumont does have, we hold the national record there. He is 14 feet and 1,100 pounds. His name is Big Tex. If you ever get a chance, go check it out. Big Al, the longest and oldest alligator that we actually had that's been at Gator country, which is 93 years old. Okay. So think about this wintertime. That means alligators will not eat. They can care less for food. They don't want nothing to do with any food, only because they're, number one, they're cold-blooded animals. The other thing is, if they eat food, they cannot digest it, so therefore it will rot in their belly. So they're smart enough to know not to eat any food during the wintertime. Now, when it gets to the point to where it's freezing point, when this water, this pond, or any of my ponds on the property actually starts to freeze, these alligators are very smart. What they do is stick their snout out the water, let everything freeze around them. They can actually drop their heart rate down to 3 to 5 heartbeats per minute. Your average, it's been about 4 to 5 hours underneath the water. Your average heartbeat for an alligator during the summertime is 55 to 60 heartbeats per minute, and they can spend 2.5 hours underneath the water. So now you can kind of understand that the colder it is, the less active an alligator gets. The hotter it is, the more active an alligator gets. So temperature plays an amazing role in all reptiles' lives, and as I go through this, you'll understand how it works. Look around the pond. It does look like the land has fell over. If you look over here to the right, you got a little mud spot. Then you have another spot on the back end. That is Lou's den, okay? So what that means? That means during the summertime, alligators work as bulldozers. They go to the land, they push and they push until they create themselves a den. With Lou's den, you can actually put a full living room couch in his den. That's how big. Hey, he's a 13-foot alligator. He needs a lot of room. The reason why I know that is because about 4 years ago, we actually had a bad drought here. That means the staff and I were concerned about our alligators because we lost a massive amount of water in their ponds. And think about it. What happens if an alligator don't have water? They die. Not that they die. They can go 2 years without eating, but they get out. All right? So if anyone of y'all want to help me catch an alligator if you need water? See, there you go. Me and Josh and the rest of the team is the ones that got to catch that animal. And look, 11% of my alligators are over 12 feet. So guess what? With Luke being the size he is, see, when we catch an alligator, we don't look at bites or getting whipped with the tail. We look at weight, because you got to move that animal. And not only that, if that animal decides to go crazy, you're dealing with that weight. And with our little bodies, that weight. And so in other words, alligator wrestling is a myth. Don't ever think that you can jump on an alligator and hold them down. Trust me, I've got bit quite a few times. It don't feel good, all right? So now that we actually in the month of May, it's a big critical thing going on with reptiles, especially alligators. We are actually in the mating season for alligators. Now, youngsters, if you really need to know what that is, I know y'all up age, but if you really need to know that, get with your mom and dad. They'll explain that to you, not me. Okay? That's the way it happens. But anyway, that means mama's going to have babies in her belly. She will have 35 to 40 eggs in her belly. She will hold them for 63 days. And around your September time frame will be the hatching season for alligators. Now, prior to her having all the babies, she's going to go on the land, take all the dead leaves and the vegetation. She's going to start packing it on the land. And what do y'all think Mama's making?
A nest.
She's making a nest. Out of the 35 to 48, probably 10 of them will grow up to be full adults due to other predation. Now, alligators are known to have an 85% hatch rate. That means majority of the babies will be born, but only 10 of them will probably grow up to be full adults because something else will eat them. Do y'all know what would eat on baby alligators? Correct. That is the main course of the alligators. And it's kind of like a 2-foot rule in the alligator world. 8-footer eats a 6, 6 eats a 4, 4 eats a 2. Anything under 10 feet eats humans, right? Now, if you believe that, you've been watching too much television, okay? Alligators do not wake up in the morning and decide to eat a human being. But as I go through this, you'll understand why they do have the attacks with that. All right? So, alligators are born 6 inches long. Do you think alligators have teeth when they're born?
No.
They actually do. Alligators got 81 teeth in the shell. The 81 tooth is considered the egg tooth. It is the only tooth that will break off and never grow back. They will continue having 80 in their mouth, 40 at the top, 40 at the bottom, generating over 3,000 teeth in their lifespan. And the way it works with an alligator's tooth is there's a new one with the old one. The new one grows inside of the old one. The minute the old one falls off, the new one's already there. They're the only one with the best dental plan, not us, okay? Because they're replenished teeth and they'll go over 3,000 in their lifespan. Now, moving along, can you tell me how many sets of eyelids do an alligator actually has?
Isn't it like 3 or 2?
2, 4, 3. All right, I'm going to go with 3 because that's the correct answer. 3. Very first one is like yours and mine. The second one plays as a part of goggles. That means they'll never have to go to Walmart to buy a pair of goggles to go swimming. It's automatically built in. So if you get a chance, look at the alligator. It's got a couple fingernails. The other 2 don't. It's because when they touch the water, that second membrane goes over their eyes, creating a goggle-like pair so they can see underneath the water. And I know you're looking at the water, it's all dirty. Look, that alligator depends on something called sensory pits. They can actually see underneath the water, probably from me to this young lady. But if you take a closer look, they got the black dots, which are considered sensory pits. On the top and the bottom, they go off of vibration. Even the babies in the gift shop up there can actually feel the vibration of this mic going through over the water. So don't think any of my 250 alligators don't know where you're at, okay? Every single alligator on this property knows exactly where you're at through the vibration of the walking, the talking, and the stumping, and all this other stuff. They know exactly where you're at. All right? So the third set allows these guys, who's trying to catch me now? Like an alligator? I'm not an alligator. I play with alligators. All right, here, you want your hot dog back? Huh? You sure? All right. But anyway, so the way it works with these guys here, the third set allows them to sink their eyes in their skulls. So if they battle against any alligator or any other prey, they can actually protect them eyes. So if you're ever with somebody and you think you're going to get bit, please don't tell them, stick your thumb in their eyes. Because if you understood what I just told you, if an alligator can sink their own eyes in their skulls, your thumbs ain't going to do nothing. Trust me, I tried it. It don't work, okay? And all I did was get the alligator banned. Do not do that. Look at the bumps. You see all these rigid bumps on the back end of the alligator? What is that called? Come on, take a big guess. Let's get involved. What do y'all think? Scales. It's called scutes, okay? Also known as a scientific word called oscoderm. And all that really means in English is bone and skin. But it plays an amazing role in their life. The first thing it's going to do, if you ever seen a police officer put his bulletproof vest on, he does it for protection, armor. These guys battle against each other, so they need some type of armor. That's what the scutes and all that oscoderms are there for. The second thing it does, it works as one huge solar panel for an alligator. How many of you ever seen an alligator sitting on a bank with his mouth open like that? Either at a park, television, or whatever. All right? So look, remember this. If you ever see an alligator sitting on a bank with his mouth open, there's only one thing you need to understand. That ain't your business. Stay in your lane. That animal is very powerful at that point. That's where he's most active, because what he's doing is conducting heat, circulating through his body like energy, so he can either hunt or he can travel. Okay? So alligators can travel up to 150 miles and report back to where they started. They are very good at what they do. And if you really think about it, they spend 98% of their life in the water. Why wouldn't you think that animal is a master? So if any alligator attack happens, where do you think it's going to happen?
In the water.
In the water. Not somewhere on land, but 9 out of 10, it's going to be in the water because that's just what they are. They're very good at what they do. The third thing the Oscar-therms does, it helps people like us. When you especially have an alligator the size of Lou, you want to know his age, right?